everybody. My name is Mackenzie Overholser, and welcome to Lifeline Podcast, where I relate everyday circumstances with an everyday loving God. I know it's been a little while since I've been on here with these podcasts, and I just gotta come out and say I am fully 100% sorry about that. I've been gone for I think going on 4 months. It's been a while. But that's a whole different story within itself. But we're going to go ahead and get started within this week's podcast. And I know this week we're going to talk a little bit about gifts in a way, but that's not the main focus point that I want to go into. So we're going to talk about gifts a lot, but at the same time we're going to go into something else as well. So this past week I had the absolute pleasure of going to a car show, an antique car show, at Arby's, at our local Arby's. And it was so much fun, but we didn't realize, me and my brother and my family, we didn't realize that it was going to take so much effort and time to get our grandfather's old car ready to go. We didn't realize how long it was going to take. While we were out there cleaning it, we were sweeping it, we were dusting it off, we were wiping it off with water, and then we'd wax it, and then we'd clean the interior, and then sweep everything, and again and again, wiping windows down. I mean, it was just a lot of effort and a lot of time to be able to put into that, to be able to get a show quality ready. And while we were cleaning it all out, while we were cleaning everything, we were just sitting there talking and reminiscing while we were waxing on and waxing off, that we remember Grandpa and Grandma bringing out the car at their house, and we would help them when we were kids get it ready for a show. So Grandpa showed us the ropes on how to get it ready, how to treat the cars at the show with respect, and how to talk to the people and just get to know their story and get to know how they got the cars and how they're doing in life. I mean, it was an amazing experience to be able to talk to all of them and to be able to grow up and to be able to learn all those different qualities from my grandparents. And it was just great to be able to get it out there. We picked up Grandma at her house, and then we took her over to the car show, and it was just so much fun. Everyone had a great time, a great night, and it was a great fellowship just to be able to talk to everyone in their cars, see all their cars. I mean, there were so many different vehicles there, so many different makes, models, colors. It was just incredible to be able to talk to everybody and to be able to see all those different vehicles and just see how many different models there are. And I bet you're wondering a little bit where I'm kind of going with that and how this ties in with gifts and how it ties in with some other things I'm going to talk about today. But it does. It really does. When we were there that day, we saw so many different vehicles, so many different cars, so many different people, so many different backgrounds. It was incredible to be able to talk to everybody and just see what all they've been up to, or where they've come in their life, and to be able to just talk about their story. And we're going to talk today about being different. Some people, when they hear that word, that they're just different, some people don't like that word. They're different. No, there's nothing I like about them. They're just too different. There's just something different. There's something off with them. Just because somebody's different doesn't mean that they're counted out, that they don't count, or that they're just too different, that they're never going to fit in. Well, we've got to talk about that a little bit, because being different doesn't automatically equal that you're no good. Being different is the best thing about you. You have qualities that God's given you that no one else has. You have different attributes and gifts and passions that maybe no one else has. I mean, there's only one you in this world, so why are we constantly trying to fit in and be like someone else? I don't know about you guys, but I needed this podcast on my own, let alone just me. So I think all of you can take something out of this, and to be able to realize that just because you're different in different kind of ways, like those cars at that classic car show, every one of them was different. Every one of them did not look identically the same. They all had different colors, shapes, models. It was just incredible to be able to see all these different vehicles and all these different people coming together to create something beautiful. And it looked amazing that night to be able to be out with everybody. But that's what it is with all of us individually. If we were created to be the same, we were cut from the same mold. God just created, this one mold for the human. And he's like, yep, that's good enough right there. So then he just mass produced millions of those people in just one mold. One face, one personality, one passion, one gift. That's it. Just one, just the same thing everywhere, all across the globe. Same skin tones, same everything. There's just one of everything. One language, nothing else. What kind of world are you envisioning? Is that exciting? Would life be exciting? Would we be able to go out and learn about different diverse cultures? It would be so boring. I mean, without having those different people in the world, without having all those different personalities, without having all those different perspectives on things, life would be so boring. So I am 100% glad that God created all of us individually, uniquely. He didn't create just like, a group of 20 people or 100 people the same. Then you move on to another cluster. Okay, these 200 people are going to be exactly the same. Okay, these next 500 people are going to be exactly the same. No, he created a mold, and that mold only fits you. There is no other mold. You broke the mold. There is no other person exactly 100% uniquely down to your DNA just like you. And that is what makes you completely different from this world, and that's why this world needs you. That's why God created us all uniquely, because I think if he tried to create us all individually perfectly in like only the one mold that he created, and he said this is perfect and then this is what I want, our lives would be completely different than what they would be today. I don't think it would be as exciting. It wouldn't be as thrilling as finding out something new about somebody. I mean, this is why we have all these different traits of, oh, I like this, but you don't like that. Or I like talking to people, but I'm more shy and I do something else behind the scenes. Or, I mean, if we didn't have all these different personalities and all these different people in the world, our world wouldn't look like what it looks like today. It would be more... It would just be so boring. I am so thankful we have all these different unique people, and he created us uniquely and individually. He didn't create us uniquely in a group. He created us individually different. Every single one of us. He took time to create every single one of us differently. The same thing gets boring after a while. It's like eating, I love cherry pie. So let's just say it's like eating cherry pie. I love it in the beginning. It's cherry pie. It's new to me. It's great. It's good. It's just tasty. It's amazing. And after you keep eating the same cherry pie, the same dinner, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the time, for like years, you eat the same thing. It gets boring after a while, doesn't it? It's exciting in the beginning, but then it gets boring after a while when nothing changes. Now, with the cherry pie, let's start saying this. Cherry pie, you have it in the beginning. It's exciting, it's new, it's different. And after a while, it gets a little bit boring. And then you add some ice cream into it. Ooh, suddenly it's different. Suddenly it's new again. Suddenly it's really good. And then it becomes amazing all over again. And then all of a sudden, you're starting to add whipped cream into it. And you're like, it can't get any better than this. And then you keep adding different things to it. Sprinkles. I don't know what all you put on your cherry pie. And then chocolate syrup on top of the ice cream. All these different dynamics add to the cherry pie. So it creates something totally new, something totally different. And it adds value to that. And that's exactly what God's doing with all these different people and all these different personality types. He's adding to the pot. He's adding to it. Because if we had just one person, the one person with the same personality and the same individualism just running the world just as one person, it wouldn't be the same as having that ice cream and that whipped cream and that chocolate syrup helping you with the world. Cherry pie can't do it on its own. So that's why I think God created all these different people with all these different personalities, because we need to come together and create something amazing. And we are so capable of doing that. We just have to allow ourselves to do that. We can't judge others to the point where we don't let them in. And we don't let them come in to help us create something new and to create something beautiful for God and all of His glory. We can't do it on our own, no matter how much we think we can. Because, I mean, I'm an independent person. If you guys know me, I'm a very independent person. So it's very hard for me to sit here and let people in. It's very hard for me to let people come and help me. And I need to let people come and help me. And I need to let people in so that we can create something beautiful and we can keep growing for God's kingdom in all different ways. So, with that being said, I do have a few quotes that I saw that have been incredible. And I love quotes. I don't know if you guys know that by now throughout my podcast, but I love quotes. I love them. So if you guys ever like post quotes on my Lifeline podcast Facebook page, YouTube channel, I would look at them all the time. I love quotes. So I have a t-shirt that says, "Be imperfectly you," because being normal is boring. So be yourself. Be imperfectly you. We all have flaws. We all have downcomings, which is why we have other people in our lives to help build us up, and which is why God created us all differently to help counteract the imbalances we have in our life too. Because I have a lot of imbalances, and I wouldn't know where I'd be without my friends, my family, my church family. It's just incredible how they uplift the parts of me that might be crumbling a little bit, and they help me balance out and become an even better person to be able to serve the Lord. And I saw this one late at night, last night, on Facebook. It said, "Someone out there feels better because you exist. Someone out there feels more valued. Someone out there feels more important because you exist. Someone out there feels just better just at your presence. Because God is living in you and coming out in you." There are people that just see that and they don't know what you have or what's going on, but they know that they want it. Whatever you've got, they want it. And they just can't explain it. And I've had people talk to me about that. They're like, "There's just something about you." And I'm like, "What is that?" It's just me. I mean, come on. Just cherry pie. And they're like, "It's just something a little bit different about you." And I can't explain it other than it's got to be God coming out through us and through me, through you. That's just got to be what it is. So I want you all to be imperfectly you. Be imperfectly you. It's okay. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have shortcomings. But we're all different. And that's your advantage in this world. That's your advantage. Don't try to fall into line with what the world thinks you need to be, or that we all need to be cookie cutter perfect, because we're not. We're never going to be cookie cutter perfect, ever. So be imperfectly you. And someone out there already feels better just because you exist. Just because they can feel the warmth that you're giving off. Just because they can feel the energy you're giving off. Just because you're you. They love it. Someone feels better just because you're you and just because you exist. So we're going to go ahead and look into our verses for today. We're going to look into 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 20. And I was just going to read verse 20, but I kept reading, and I liked verse 20 through 26. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. I'm reading out of the NIV today, and I do have some commentary, so I will read that sometimes throughout when I'm reading these Bible verses. Okay, it says, "As it is, there are many parts but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, 'I don't need you,' and the head cannot say to the feet, 'I don't need you.' On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable we treat with special honor, and the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it." So that, I think, It's talking about gifts a lot throughout that whole section, and that's probably what some of these sections are also going to touch on as well, some of the other Bible verses. But I also take that when we're reading that. It's not just about the gifts, even though it talks about gifts throughout that. The different parts, your gifts will come into play, and your gifts will be beautiful as long as your individual gift is amazing, and you can use other people's gifts together to create something beautiful. Just like that cherry pie that we were talking about earlier. It needs its ice cream, it needs the whipped cream, it needs chocolate syrup, it needs sprinkles. It needs it all to be something beautiful and incredible. All individually, they're wonderful, but together they are so beautiful, and they create something even better when we're all working together. So the individual person is beautiful, but like it's talking about in here, we're all a part of the body of Christ, and we're all a part of the different branches of the body, the parts of the body. So if we just have a foot, the foot can't say, I don't need you, leg. I don't need your help. We're going to fall flat on our face if we don't ask help with the different parts of the body. We have to ask for help, and we have to come together to be one full, uniformed body of Christ. We can't just do it with one teacher and then no one else. We need the givers, we need the helpers, we need the teachers, the pastors, we need everybody that has all these different gifts, and everybody that has all these different unique personalities and types, to be different and to be able to create something unique and beautiful. And he's given us the opportunity and the possibilities to create something unique and beautiful. We just have to be able to work together and not judge each other and not tear each other down and tear apart the body of Christ. That's not what it's meant to do. If a body of Christ is disassembled, then we're not a body at all. We're just floating out here, not being able to do what we're called to be able to do. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to Romans. I'm reading out of the NIV. I can't remember if I told you that before, but I'm going to read out of Romans chapter 12, verses 4 through 8. Again, reading out of the NIV. It says, "For just as each of us has one body with many members, and those members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts, according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully." This part of the commentary, I was reading down the commentary after I read that verse, and I really liked part of it, because it talked about the different gifts, because it says, this is the commentary, it says, an assertive prophet would not usually make a good counselor. So it's talking about how being different is okay, like having those different gifts and being a different individual, different personality. It's okay to be able to do that, because that gives you the ability to use your gift and to be able to use your individual personality better. It says, I'm going to back up a little bit in the commentary. It says, teachers are clear thinkers. Encouragers know how to motivate others. Givers are generous and trusting. Leaders are good organizers and managers. Those who show mercy are caring people who are happy to give their time to others. It would be difficult for one person to embody all these gifts. An assertive prophet would not usually make a good counselor, and a generous giver might fail as a leader. When you identify your own gifts, and this list is far from incomplete within the Bible, where it has all these different gifts, but it doesn't have every single one, ask how you can use them to build up God's family. At the same time, realize that your gifts can't do the work of the church all alone. Be thankful for people whose gifts are completely different from yours. Let your strengths balance their weaknesses, and be grateful that their abilities make up for your deficiencies. Together, you can build Christ's church. That's where sometimes it's hard to be able to sit there and be like, well, their gift is 50 times better than mine. Like, why did God give me this kind of gift? I don't want it. He can have it back. I'm guilty of that. I didn't want to be doing this. I didn't want this gift either. And God, he won't give you another gift. He won't. This is the gift. The gift that he wants you to have and to be able to use. And all that, what we're talking about, is just fear standing in the way of your gift, and to be able to be as uniquely and individually as you are. To be able to be different from this world, like what we were created to be. We can't do everything on our own. We have to have those other people with the different personalities, with the different gifts, to be able to come in and add that extra ingredient into the melting pot and be able to create something so beautiful. So, for my last Bible verse, I'm going to go over to 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. And I really liked this verse. This is my favorite verse of the day. It says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." I loved that. I need to highlight that or something, because it said the Lord does not look at the things that people look at, that humans look at, that we look at. He looks at things differently. People look at the outward appearances. We always focus on the outward appearance. How people look, how people dress, how people act. But the Lord looks inward at the heart. He looks at the heart. He looks through the facade that you're trying to put out. The facade of what you're trying to let people see. When you're out with people, you're usually just putting up a front and you're allowing people to see what you want them to see. You'd have to really get to know somebody and really get to know them deeply before they'd even open up and show you completely who they are, I think. That's just personal preference. But God knows you from the moment, from the beginning. He already can see right through all your facades, right through all your outward, exterior, hard surface, exterior things, and he's already getting right to the center of the issue. He can see your heart from the get-go. He doesn't even see your outward appearance. He sees your heart, and that's what makes you beautiful. He sees your heart and everything that you stand for and everything that you love and all of your passions. He sees all of that inward working. He doesn't care about the outward appearance. He doesn't care what you look like. Because to him, your heart is what makes you beautiful. The physical features are just superficial. That's just what the world looks at. That says it right there. That's what the people look at. The world looks at the physical features. The world looks at the outward appearances before really looking at the heart. God only looks at the heart. He really only looks at the heart and knows what you're standing for and what you carry in your heart. Now I'm going to read the commentary a little bit on 7, because I really liked the commentary that it had. It said, Saul, so that verse was talking about Saul. Saul was tall and handsome. He was an impressive looking man. Saul may have been trying to find someone who looked like Saul to be Israel's next king, but God warned him against judging by appearances alone. When people judge by outward appearance, they may overlook quality individuals who lack the particular physical qualities society currently admires. Appearance doesn't reveal what people are really like, or what their true value really is. Fortunately, God judges by faith and character, not appearances, and because only God can see on the inside, only he can accurately judge people. I really think that point right there is very important. Accurately judge people. Because we can think that we know the inner workings of somebody, like their heart, because whoever you're talking to is only showing you what they want you to see. So you'll never know the full intent of their accurately inner workings of their heart. But God can see, he's the only one that can fully see on the inside of what your heart truly stands for and what your heart means. Only he can accurately judge you, or judge people. Most people spend hours each week maintaining their outward appearance. They should do even more to develop their inner character. While everyone can see your face, only you and God know what your heart really looks like. What steps are you taking to improve your heart's attitude? Oh, wow. That one was pretty good. I like that last little question. It says, what steps are you taking to improve your heart's attitude? Your heart has attitude. What steps are you doing to improve it and to nourish it and cherish it and to make it grow deeper in God? I love everything about this podcast today. It is like so needed for so many different people, and it's just incredible how different we all can be, but yet we all can work so beautifully together to create something amazing, like cherry pie with ice cream, whipped cream, and sprinkles, and chocolate syrup, and oh, I'm just hungry. That's the only problem, that I'm thinking about cherry pie. But guys, you're all uniquely, individually made. You're not born to be the same as the next person. You're born to stand out. You're born to be different. Not just because you think you have to follow in line with the world and what the world thinks. You have to be different because you're born to be different. Be imperfectly you. Be imperfectly you. Just be yourself. Be imperfectly you. And then someone out there feels better because you exist. You exist, and that's enough. Alright? Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's Lifeline podcast. It feels so good to be back in the saddle again. I think I needed a little bit of a break, and I should have came out and talked to you guys a little bit more about that. But it's been rough a little bit this last 3 or 4 months. It's been a little rough, spiritually, in a way, spiritually draining, because we couldn't go anywhere, see anybody, do anything. So it's been a little rough. And I'm getting back to where I need to be. And I think God's taught me a lot in these last 3 or 4 months. But thank you so much for staying here, for being here, for supporting, for listening, for telling friends, family about it. It means so much to me, guys. You have no idea. So thank you again for listening to Lifeline Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you like my Facebook channel under Lifeline Podcast. You can find me also under Lifeline Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment, share. Thank you so much. Tell some family about me. Tell some friends about me. Just spread the word. Thank you so much. And if you see some people walking around with my Lifeline wristbands on, be sure to stop and talk to them. You know, you guys are lifeliners. Be out there for each other. Support each other. Encourage each other. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a terrific, awesome week. Until we get to talk again next Saturday. Bye, guys. Have a good one.